What's good? You rocking with your boy TheCzarr, all rights reserved. Shout to CommenterNation, the greatest nation since United Nations. Shout to all my CommenterNation family, Commenter universe, everybody that rocks with me through the ins and outs, that stands with me against the people that try to discredit or say bad things with no evidence, no proof, just talking out the side of their neck about stuff that's irrelevant, that's unimportant to what we have going here. Now, what many people forgot is it was a series. A series means many events. I didn't tell you how many videos. Well, I speculated it would be around 100, then 200, but I didn't give you the exact number. And I told you in other videos, if you're watching the series, that it may increase, as it has. And it probably still will increase as I plan for it to. Now, I can't dissuade you to your belief of whether things are credible or not. I'm just telling you the paperwork I've seen and how it validated through official doctors, official people linked to it. I got people catching attitudes on both sides. You know, not everybody coming at me. There are a few that are coming at me because of it, but I don't control an adult's mind. You believe what you believe, but one thing I'm going to say, I would like to see evidence to prove otherwise if you believe otherwise. That is the best way for me to explain what is currently the situation. I can't predict how you're going to feel in the future. I can't validate or discredit anyone for feeling how they feel. It's your thoughts. This is a free speaking nation, always has been. I don't accept slander of other commenters, so I'm okay when people are discussing things, debating things, have different views than someone else. That's the way it should be, because critical thinking, it should be that way. Now, it doesn't always go the way one person wants it to feel. Oh, I said this, so it doesn't always work that way. And that's what I'm saying. That's part of what this nation's here is doing. That's what will never change, because that's what every other YouTube channel does not have. The person that speaks says this is the end all be all. I never acted that way. I told you what I believe to be true, and we went from there. And still, I'm a critical thinker. I have my opinions about different situations. You don't have to agree. I don't argue with you with any beliefs you have, and so you argue your point with your evidence. That's it. I came at the individuals in comments as everyone could verify when we had people in here that were alleged witnesses. I do it because of what I believe to be true, and when I'm talking about something, how I'm saying, listen, this is that, can you prove this, can you prove that, period. It is what it is, and that's why I understand people are like, let me see the documents, but I can't release that type of stuff. So that's why I accept the critical thinkers. If I can't release the documentation, there's no way I could baffle everybody like I'm the first to have it, because it's still in a certain session. Now, if somebody wants to send the documents through and wants it to be accessible, that's their decision. That's up to my source. And if they don't want to, then I can always put it out there, but I can't force people to believe or think otherwise. It is what it is, though. But that's leading into this new series. Welcome to TheCzarr, all rights reserved. Now, the name is going to be linked to it eventually. You will see the name that comes with it. It's going to be a series. It's going to be thinking about it type of series. And what we're going to talk about is Cat Williams. Cat Williams is the biggest example of what happens to a star when the industry is finished with you. Yes, I'm saying that when the industry is done with your shenanigans, he is the example of what happens. They leave you out stray, and you see bad things happen to you one after another. How many times has he been arrested? Someone could count and count it many times. Now, the reason I'm speaking about this is something we've seen synonymous with a lot of different artists, but it seems to be a trend when things aren't going right for them. For instance, when it has to do with a rapper or a musician, we see that they're being attacked a lot. We see that some of them are even being violently attacked if they rap about things of violence. That's when we know that the industry is through with you. Comedians, we see that a lot of their comedy shows are going bad. Oh, also for musicians, they won't sell a lot of tickets. They'll have a lot of issues getting shows. They won't be able to perform. This is when the industry is fed up with shenanigans. This is a common factor we see, and it's only going to increase as we see a lot of rappers, a lot of comedians, a lot of stars not doing what they're supposed to do. Now, what is that they're supposed to do? You can leave it up to speculation and think critically what you think they're supposed to do. But I've noticed the trend and the fact of way things happen to them because they're not acting the way everyone remembers them to have acted, or they've said things that were very discrediting or disrespectful in the alleged eyes of the person who they targeted with their words. Now, as we've seen, Cat Williams had a lot of heat with Kevin Hart. Not only that, we remember one of his stand-up specials where he was dressed in his nice suit, his hat, he came out, he said something about Hollywood and how things occur in Hollywood, talking about the way they dress, the different events that go on. Now, that cannot be deemed credible, but it was the fact he said this. And this is many things that people have called conspiracy theorists when it has been said. Do you think that this is something weighing on his career? And this may be a reason why of him admitting these things, his career is allegedly over. Now, again, he's been arrested. And that's crazy because he seems to have spats with different people in stores. Now, they have alleged that substance has been the reason behind a lot of his actions. We cannot confirm that. There has been no test to show that. But what we can confirm is that this is what happens when the industry is fed up with you, because you're not getting the notoriety, the shows, the money you once were. You're being denied the attention you were once getting. And now you're in many different situations that people are being forced to question your character. Is it how you're reacting that's causing these scenarios? Is it how you're thinking that's causing these scenarios? Is there something else we don't know causing the drama, the heat for you, causing you to be, let's say, decharacterized in such a very genocidal way that destroys many careers? Now, let's look at this. And this is to anyone trying to get in the industry. If you're going to step into the industry in some sort of way, make it positive. If you're going to react around you in certain ways, make sure it's positive. Focus on what's important. Why do we have many situations with people trying to throw others under the bus for their own gratitude? If there's one thing I haven't done, it's throw people under the bus. We've been objective. We ask questions. And that's the thing. You get hate for even asking questions, for even saying that I don't believe this to be the truth. I believe this. That hate comes. I have hate for doing the series I did, which I expected. And people saying, oh, I rock with you a long time. No, you didn't. That's why I did my comments how I did. So I saw who rocks with me. If now you chose to be brave and say something, that's your decision. But you could have been said the things you were saying, but now it's coming out because I'm actually putting the spotlight on larger YouTubers who are really abusing information, who always make 4 to 5 minute videos, and they're always about the same type of subjects I speak without details. Sometimes it's just images taken off other lives. That's what I'm saying. YouTube is moving in a certain way where everyone's going to be doing the image-based thing. So if you can't build a brand off of speaking with some type of intelligence, you are going to miss out. You are going to fall behind. Even if you speak with no intelligence, if you can't put yourself out there to be a media personality, you will be passed up. That's the way this future is moving. YouTube has changed all of its metrics, the way things work, to big up the smaller YouTubers that do what I do. There are many on the rise. That's my thing, many. And some of them have spoken about the same subjects, but yet have not received the notoriety that we've built here because of how they interact. They don't interact with their commenters. They do it and say, view this. No, I'll reach out to you guys. I want information if you have the proof otherwise of what I'm saying. I want different details to come out if you have a different viewpoint on what I'm saying. I want you to speak freely. I want you to express your opinion. But when you come at me, you make it a different type of era. You create a different type of vibe. And that's the difference between people who are dumb, deaf, and blind. If you wanted me to explain that, they're going to listen, they're going to have a critical response, and they're going to prove it. And I'm going to be like, oh, I really can't prove it. But someone coming out saying, if you don't show me the evidence, I'm not going to believe it. That's your right. But that doesn't mean I have to show you the evidence for it to be true. These are research. These are sources that reach in, that are close to situations. I don't always expose them. They expose themselves if they choose to. They speak on things when they choose to. I just make the decision to address certain subjects when necessary. That is my right. That is all rights reserved, because all of us are getting value out of the situation. You're getting your viewpoint sent out there. I'm letting you know how I feel. That's a win-win for both of us. And that's where a lot of people aren't mentally. And I understand that, because a lot of people, like I asked to the individual who did so earlier this week, and I didn't even notice it. I said, do you work a job? Do you do anything valued? And they're like, well, I'm not going to tell you how I get to the bag. Well, I suggest that you stay quiet then. Because if you have any shady dealings, get into your bag that you flaunt, you floss, what difference are you making than the Instagram flossers or people we see getting ran down on because they have something people don't, because they flashed it around and bragged about it? That's my thing. If you're going to flash things around and brag about it, maybe you need to take another look at your character, your life, what you inspire, what you value, what you're putting out into the world, the type of encouragement you're giving. Stay humble. Maybe everyone around who's flossing and flogging and bragging needs to stay humble. You never heard me get up here and say, look what I got. Oh, look what I did. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at this. I never got up here and did that. Now, as one of my sources say, it may be a complex where I argue my point to the point I won't disbelieve anything or I won't approve anything. I won't go with the flow of everything. But that's just my character. The same way I accept you, I ask you accept that from me. But my whole thing is, that doesn't make me see you any less credible. Matter of fact, I understand. You're probably the most credible person here. But you got to understand, critical thinking does not allow everyone to roll with who's credible, but they roll with their thoughts looking at other pieces of evidence. That is questionable. We can all agree. But when official papers come out, that is what it is. But that doesn't mean you still can't think. You're allowed to think. It's a free country. How many times during this series have I thought of stuff and then it's been wrong? But morally, I thought of stuff and it's made sense with the situation. But then we see things turn out a certain way. It's a give and take. Everybody has to be willing. And one of those situations you're going to see very normally will be Cat Williams. As he's facing his many different trials, as he's facing this case, will he pop up again and again and again because of the things he said in the past, as far as discrediting certain people who didn't turn out to be that type of person, allegedly, that they may have been voiced as, or people he rubbed shoulders with in the industry, people he's joked about, people that were offended by his jokes. This is critical thinking, objective. I ask questions, you give your thoughts, we come to an answer, we agree to disagree. If you don't like that, this channel is not going to appeal to you. We're going to bump heads here and there, but I accept your opinion. I accept your thoughts, and I'm cool with you viewing the thing or not. It's up to you. But ultimately, all rights reserved, CommenterNation, Commenter Universe has hit a stratosphere where we all are in space thinking together, learning to look deeply, learning together, becoming better people together. That's what this is about. Got more on the way tomorrow. I'm going to turn up this weekend. I have more things I want to discuss this weekend in more detail. And that's why I'm saying this, because you're not always going to agree with me, but we can agree to disagree. But if you're going to slander commenters, you got to go. And you know I'll rock. All rights reserved.